What's happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And this weekend, Chelsea travel to Anfield to take on Liverpool in the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday evening. Two unbeaten starts to the season. Liverpool 2 wins, Chelsea 2 wins. George, this is going to be a tough game. We won last season at Anfield, obviously in very different circumstances. Liverpool going for a tough patch, no crowd at Anfield. Just how much of a different proposition is it going to be now back in front of the Anfield faithful and Liverpool with almost a full complement to choose from?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough match, probably one of the toughest matches in the fixture list for sure, going to Anfield, away from home. All the promos been the Lukaku versus Virgil van Dijk. I mean, it's easy to, bash goals in against Arsenal, which suits him perfectly with the type of defenders that they are. But Virgil van Dijk is arguably the best central defender in Europe, if not the world. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. And yeah, you're right, Liverpool are a completely different animal now, I think, with a fully fit squad. And they're probably quite happy that they've no one's talking about them going under the radar this season with all the hype with City and United with the transfer potential of Ronaldo and Chelsea signing their big star man up front. So they're the ones who are just going to quietly go about their business. And this is the test for Chelsea now. And I think it's perfect timing for Chelsea and probably for Liverpool, because it's better to play these difficult games early on in the season when teams haven't quite found their feet, because you can excuse a defeat and it's not going to take you out of the race. But at the same time, we've ticked one off regardless of the result. We've played away at Anfield, and you'd rather be playing this now than say in April or May when it's really squeaky bum time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, I have to say. Prediction-wise, I don't know yet, but I think we're in for a good one for sure.
And George, Thomas Tuchel very rarely names the same lineup from game to game, but obviously with no midweek games at the moment, do you expect this to be an unchanged side from the Arsenal match? Obviously, Christian Pulisic still missing through COVID. I imagine N'Golo Kante will probably come back into the fold. And an interesting one at left back. We haven't seen Ben Chilwell at all this season. Obviously lost his place in the most recent England squad for the upcoming qualifiers announced. Alonso's done very well. Do you think he'll keep his place?
That was one I was going to mention. I think that is the one area where I would probably then start to switch just because of the opposition we're playing. I think Alonso up against Salah is a disaster for me. I think going forward in those home games or against sides that are slightly further back, I think it makes sense to play Alonso. But when we're up against a team that are so focal down those two channels, I think Alonso struggles there. It's whether he's prepared to take the risk of adding an attacking option going forward, or whether he wants someone who's a bit more defensive in the hope that we kind of stop Liverpool. For me, I think this is a game that Ben Chilwell comes back into the fold, but it would be incredibly harsh not to give Alonso the opportunity, considering how well he started the season. That's what I would say.
And in terms of the front three, obviously we saw Lukaku, Mount and Kai Havertz last time out of the Emirates. Part of me thinks that Timo Werner could well be recalled for this game. He was very good at Anfield last season. Liverpool like to play a high line. His pacing behind was causing all sorts of problems. Would you expect him to return to the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the situation is with Christian Pulisic.
He's still out.
He's still out. So that would have been one that I would have liked to have seen coming, because I think he's had a couple of good games against Liverpool as well in his time. But yeah, Werner for me, because of again, we need to stretch the fullbacks. We need someone who can match the pace of the two fullbacks in Arnold and Robertson. And I think he does that well. So yeah, I would expect Werner to come back. But again, is it harsh? And do you change something that's not broken? I mean, like you said, Tuchel does tend to change and likes to interchange. And you've got to play the side that suits the occasion and the match, not necessarily just because we won a game we keep the same side. That's not how we roll as Tuchel. Well, we know that Tuchel does. So yeah, that's another one that I think will change.
Yeah, I think it's kind of horses for courses very much. And for me, Werner would be a better option than say Kai Havertz for this Anfield game. I presume it's going to be for Kai Havertz, because I guess Lukaku is virtually untouchable. He's definitely going to play, and it appears that Mason Mount is also in that almost untouchable bracket. So, I mean, George, where do you think this game is going to be won or lost? Do you think it's going to be whether Lukaku can get the better of Van Dijk the midfield battle, or where do you see the key areas being in this game?
I think midfields. I think we're better than them in midfield. I have to be honest with you. I think it's on the basis of Lukaku against Virgil van Dijk, and I know that's what the kind of promotion and all the Sky Sports pundits will look at. But this is where we're going to see the real Lukaku in a sense. And I know it's incredibly early to say that, but he's coming up against the best defender certainly in the Premier League. So if he can do the same as what he did against Arsenal, then we know that we're in for an absolute treat in terms of this title challenge. If Van Dijk gets the best of him, then where are the chances being created? Because the whole front three is based now around, Lukaku bringing the others into play. And we still have to deal with Mane and Salah. And Salah, I think, they've already started hitting the ground running this season. Very hard to stop. So we need to make sure that we deal with that as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Reece James, again, he's developing as a defender, and the whole Chilwell Alonso scenario. So yeah, we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out a lot this season at where we're at in terms of a title challenge. But the result, really, it would be great to get a point or a win. But I think it's too early to be so critical if we lose this, because Liverpool are still a great side at Anfield, and plenty of teams are going to go there and not pick up points.
Obviously, you mentioned the threat of kind of Salah, Mane, Diego Jota, Firmino, etc. Do you think there's any chance, George, that Tuchel might switch Azpilicueta to right wing back and bring someone else into that back three instead of Reece James, just for a bit of extra defensive solidity?
Yeah, I've said it loads of times on the pod and on the YouTube channel that I'm not surprised at anything Thomas Tuchel does now. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he brought in Chalobah again or whatever. I trust him 100%, and he is such an intellectual tactician that I really do believe whatever he puts out there on Saturday night will be the team that's the best equipped to beat Liverpool. That's what I'm sure about. So I have 100% faith in the manager and the players that they can get the job done on Saturday. And I think we should go for the win. I don't think Liverpool are untouchable like they were a couple of years ago, but I would take a point here and now.
Yeah, 100%. I'd take a point right now as well. I'd sign for that. But I think we've definitely got enough about us to get the 3 points here. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It will be a tough challenge for sure. It'll be much harder than last season, obviously, with the returning injured players that Liverpool have now got, plus the Anfield crowd behind them. But George, I just wanted to talk about one other player quickly. When do you think we're going to see Thiago Silva this season? Do you think he'll feature at all? I mean, we seem to be quite established at the back. He's obviously getting on in age now. Do you think he's just going to play a few cup games here and there now, not really get much of a run out in the league?
It's hard, isn't it? Again, this wouldn't surprise me if this was the type of game he came in for his experience and his quality and those big match moments away from home where the pressure's on and it's a full crowd at Anfield. And he's that type of leader that just is so used to it from his experience. Wouldn't surprise me if he came into the fold on Saturday night. That's how much Tuchel throws me off. But I expect him to be a bit of a bystander this year. I think he gave us so much last season. It's certainly in that Champions League run. And I think he's more of an influence in and around the training ground, the dressing room. Will certainly play his part, but I think he's at the moment. How does he get into the team? I think that the fullbacks are more interchangeable than your centre half pairing. I think that stays pretty consistent, but because of the formation we play, it has the ability to change those so-called three centre halves. So look, whatever Tuchel does, I fully back.
Yeah, no, I'm the same 100%. And George, just to round off a score prediction from yourself, I'm going to be sitting on the fence on this one. I'm going to go with a score draw of 1-1.
Yeah, I was swaying towards a Liverpool win just because I think might be a bit too much this early on, but I'm also at the opinion that we can get a goal. So I'm also going to go 1-1, and that's so boring, but I think that's what it's going to be.
We better hope that fence can hold up then with both of us sitting on it. But yeah, guys, that's just myself and George's thoughts on Chelsea's trip to Liverpool this Saturday evening. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or not? Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one.